Hey guys, Brian again for another video. Today we're checking out a car that's near and dear to my heart. We're checking out the 2023 Toyota Highlander LE. My, how things have changed. If you're new to my channel, thank you so much for stopping by and checking out the video. In my review video on the Highlander, I will start with the outside, then pop the hood to talk about the engine and drivetrain. We'll get into the back for cargo space, work our way to the third row, middle row, front of the car, and finish up with the technology. Let's begin. Here's a quick peek at the window sticker for you. Midnight Black Metallic has little bits of silver and blue in it. Here's our fuel economy. Basic standard features. Additional accessories. There are no packages for this vehicle. And our MSRP. Also, before we start real quick, I'm going to refer to the LE as the base model. There is an L, but I still haven't seen an L before. So for all intents and purposes, we're going to just consider this the base model for the Highlander. And speaking of standard things that you're getting at the base level, we're going to jump right into the front. LED lights are going to be standard on the Highlander LE, including LE fog lights to match. There's also a painted gloss black grille, which is going to go very nicely with the black paint, but if you're getting a different color exterior, the black is going to shine and pop against that exterior color. Down below, there's going to be a big lip that's non-painted black. Also will be non-painted black no matter what color Highlander you get, and that's going to match, and you're going to see a continuous theme all along the Highlander of non-painted black. Not on the bottom over here by the side skirt, but you're going to see this on the fender liners and in the back as well, and that's going to take a great beating when you're kicking up rocks and twigs and salt if you drive in a snowy area. The hood has a very nice contour that matches the shape of the headlight, that beefs its way up towards the center and just shoots right into the corner over there. And if we work our way to the middle, we have a little contour that goes down below, which gives it a nice beefy muscular look. From the side, there's something I truly appreciate about the Highlander. They didn't go with a narrow face. They kept things snub-nosed, which was a unique look to the Highlander since it's been around. But another new thing, the hips over here in the back, as I call them, are still pronounced. So in a world of cars that are kind of doing the fake body lines, these actually do pop out on their own, which I'll show you from this angle. It actually has real muscle, which you can see. A small detail that some people comment about that I don't really see eye to eye with them, the chrome window trim on the bottom, but black on the top. A lot of people say things like, I wish it was just black all around. I can maybe understand why you like that, but to me, the chrome adds a nice little touch that breaks up the black. And if you're looking at it at the right angle, it really does line up nicely with that side marker, and it just gives you a little swish of chrome that's going to break up the black and play very nicely with the alloy wheels. Great thing here in the Highlander world, color matching mirrors are standard with a side turn signal and standard blind spot monitor. So you no longer have to look for blind spot monitor because you can be rest assured any Highlander you buy is going to have your blind spot warning system. And not quite an accessory thing, but the door handle has these two little lines, which tells us there's a smart key with a push button starter on every Highlander LE and up. Standard on every Highlander LE are the 18-inch wheels with a 5-spoke alloy wheel. This is the same wheel that was used on the RAV4 XLE until 2022, where they kept the wheel the same and darkened it up. So this is the identical wheel on the RAV4. Style-wise, I call it the Toyota Fat Fives. It's a nice light silver alloy that's polished up with some clear coat, and it doesn't grab too much attention. It doesn't really flicker play with the light, but when you wash these wheels up, they have a really nice shine. Onto the back, staying true to the design, the Highlander has its new curvy taillights, which are a lot different than the previous generation that were just straight barred. But it's keeping true to the spirit because at nighttime, these really nice looking curvy taillights actually give you a straight bar of super bright red LED lights that give it a really nice sporty look. And like I mentioned before, the back of the Highlander has that big round effect rear lip in non-painted black, which in case you're kicking things up or you back into something, you tap something, or you're out in a busy, crowded area and you get a little nick, that non-painted black is really going to take the beating and hide the damage a lot more. Here's a quick view of the underbody where we can find the spare, our single exhaust, and the rest of the vehicle. The wing on the rear has a nice design where it kind of looks like there's horns on the sides with these two channels for air, and inside is the third brake light, which is very bright at nighttime, with a non-discrete, very conspicuous wiper blade that gets a lot of attention from people who do reviews on the Toyotas. I think Toyota's philosophy is having it down here is easier for replace and repair, but I must say it probably would have looked a little bit more clean if it was tucked away. Let me know what you think about that. And there's a quick overview of the exterior of the Highlander. It's been the same for the last couple of years, but for 2023, we have a couple big changes. And let's pop the hood and talk about one of those. Under the hood, we have two power plant options now. Instead of the 6-cylinder, you will now be greeted with a 4-cylinder, a 2.4 liter. It's the T24A FTS with a turbo. It's a single turbo. And on every gas model Highlander, you get the 2.4 turbo. But if you go with the hybrid, it'll be the A25A non-turbo hybrid system. This 4-cylinder turbo engine for the Highlander is offering, like we saw on the window sticker, 28 miles per gallon on the highway, which is EPA rated, 21 in the city for a blend of 24. And mated to that 4-cylinder turbo is an 8-speed real-geared transmission, so not a CVT. You have 8 real gears by Toyota that are going to help you shift through and give you that nice confident feel with a 5,000-pound tow capacity in case you want to pull stuff in the back. If you're new to Toyota, take a moment to appreciate the very simple design. One of the great things about Toyota is they have one of the lowest cost of ownerships compared to other cars, and they're very reliable. So if you're not sure what you're looking at, it looks like a busy bunch, but if you're a car person, you can see this is very simple. And just to rattle off a couple things, Toyota likes to keep it simple because it makes it easier and faster to work on these vehicles. Just by glancing in the hood, I can see the coolant system and the level. I can access most of the hoses when the vehicle has a ton of miles on it when they need to be replaced. Checking the oil has a very accessible dipstick. When I pop the cover, I can get to my coil packs. And over onto the driver's side, there's a very accessible cover and case for the engine air filter. Behind that, I have a very easy access for the battery. And tucked away over here is the master cylinder, so that could be a little bit of a job later on if you ever have to replace that. But when you want to check your brake fluid, you barely have to bend over to see your min versus your max. Stepping back a bit and looking to the side, you can see that it's very easy to get to the bulbs on both sides of the car. So say one of those great LED lights actually do go out, it's very easy to get to pop them in and out yourself if you're a DIY. Another nice thing to see for the 4-cylinder versus the 6-cylinder it used to have is that the engine is still tucked very low into that engine compartment like the 6-cylinder was, increasing the driving confidence and lowering the center of gravity. But that's enough muddling around under the hood. Let's lower the hood, open up the hatchback, and talk about cargo space in the Highlander. So with the quick push of a button on the dashboard on the driver's side, or a push of the button on the key fob, or a push of the button right over here, I have a power opened hatchback, which is height adjustable, which will first greet me with 16 cubic feet of space with the third row up. And with the simple pull of a lever on this side and on that side, you will then unlock, after folding down these little headrests, a new 48 cubic feet of cargo space, still keeping this Highlander a 5-seater. But say you need even more, and it's just going to be you driving or you and somebody else. By pulling on lever 1 and then lever 2, the seats will go down flat, unlocking a whopping 84 cubic feet of space, making you the envy of every RAV4 driver you ever see. But that's enough about the cargo space. You're probably wondering, how much space is in each one of these rows? Well, in just a moment, after I bring up this third row simply, we're going to talk about it. So there's two ways to fold this middle seat here. We can pull up this lever over here, or we can do this one, whatever we're comfortable with. They gave you this one in case a rear passenger needs to get out. And that slides forward like so, and what I'll do is I'll crawl right inside. And here's an example of my space. Don't mind the sound of the vents. It's quite warm and muggy today, so I need to have some AC on me because I am hot. I have about 5 to 6 inches of space here. This is what it looks like with the third row back all the way. So you gotta be really little. And another thing, check out my femur. The only part of this cushion that's supporting me is on my butt. So pretty much my whole leg is lifted off of that cushion because of how high the floor is. So like I said, it's definitely something that I could do. I won't be happy back here for a very long time, but say we're taking a family trip. If I have the AC on me and I'm not super claustrophobic and they're courteous and they bring their seat up a little bit, I could maybe get away with an hour or so, but I'll definitely be the one back here that's in the mood to take a break more often than the people in front of me. I also don't have any charging ports. There are no USBs, but I do have cup holders, a dedicated vent for my friend next to me, a dedicated vent for me, decent visibility. But if you're a little one that kind of likes to be tucked in your spaceship and be in your submarine and be in your fort, you might even like the cramped space, because as an adult, it's gonna feel cramped, but as a kid, it's gonna be just right. But I've had enough of being back here. Let's go into the second row and talk about what it feels like as a passenger. And here's what it's like getting into the second row of the Highlander LE for 2023. So just one thing I want to point out, this seat's not back all the way. I'll show you what it's looked like back all the way. If I got really little people back there. Ton more space. I'd say this is easily a foot. So somebody who's 6'4" could drive, bring this back at least a half a foot, and I still got plenty of room. But we're sacrificing for the people in the back. So a couple things here I want to show you on the door. Have some hard plastic. It'll take a beating and clean up easily. No chrome here, no brushed chrome. Simple basic stuff made to take the beating and last a long time. A little bit of a soft plush material here with some stitching. Fabric over here that matches the seats. So that'll take to stains, so be careful. Down below, good storage. I have 2 bottle holders with a slanted upward sliding storage over here that goes through the side of the door, with floor mats that cover up pretty much the whole floor, and they have these nice channels in them to trap the water and the gook that might fall down on the floor. Another nice thing is 2 USBs. Would have liked to see some in the back, but you can't have everything. And a separate controller for the climate control for the rear. Of course, you can control that as a driver as well. We have the air, speed, off, I can turn it back on, air direction, and temperature or auto. As a passenger in the second row, I have a lot more visibility. I can see all around me, very big square windows. There is no sliding shade, which is on the Highlander XLE and up. Not a big deal because they come with tinted privacy glass. But the crampedness is reduced very much so. The driver's headrest is not as in my face as when I'm in a RAV4 or even a Camry. Not the spaciousness of a Sienna, but definitely very nice, especially if you're coming out of a RAV4 and you're excited to have that third row. Your back passengers are going to be very happy. And of course, they have their own dedicated vents here. This is not new and innovative, but there's ventilation, lights, and cup holders in all 3 rows, which is great. I think I've spent enough time back here in the second row. Let's jump over to the Copilot seat and see what it's like being a driver assistant. Here's what it's like getting into the passenger side to enter the Copilot seat of the 2023 Highlander LE gas. So on the door over here, of ever so slightly softer material here, still pretty hard, but not rock hard. Rock hard plastic here, nothing gloss to get fingerprints all over. They're preventing the fingerprints with all these different blacks. Matching black cloth fabric over here, the same plush material with a little strip of sandblasted chrome. No sandblasted chrome, just a simple black LE handle. It'll last for years and years with a bit more storage, but one bottle holder with a long storage on the sides. But nice to see standard puddle lights or courtesy lights, whatever you want to call them, so you can see what you're stepping into when you open the door. Also notice Toyota went with the black Highlander logo over here instead of gray, because the gray ones, over the years, they get dingy very quickly. Just gonna adjust my seat a little bit. Of course, it's a manual seat. Armrest is in a good spot. Let me turn this down a little. Now you guys can hear me. Actually, let me turn the rear down a little bit. There we go. Now you guys can hear me a little bit better. It's nice to see, though, they added some of this non-shiny dark silver over here with the brushed chrome. Swish! I like the style of the vents. Instead of going just a boring old square like a lot of car companies do. And black over here. Nice deep storage. Definitely deeper than the last generation. Deep storage over here. No more hole to run your wires. I guess Toyota just figured we don't need it anymore, which makes sense because on the last generation, people really didn't know what that was all about. That had to get explained to them all the time. But 3 USBs, 2 fast chargers. The CarPlay and the Android Auto is wireless on this new software system available. It is standard on every Highlander now, and every RAV4, and every Corolla. Of course, the Tundras have it too. Let's take a quick glance down over here. No piano black anywhere besides by the screen, so no fingerprint magnets. They really went against the fingerprint magnets. And real quick, speaking of fingerprints, with all the kitties you got back here, every Highlander LE comes with a bench. So you can't get the bucket seats, to my knowledge, on the LE. But if you want XLE, you have the option for the 7-seater or the 8-seater. Quick little sliding shelf with a 12-volt plug. Storage goes almost to the elbow. Very deep. Not quite as huge as the last gen, but a little more organizable, in my opinion, instead of just having a giant bucket. With a soft, spongy material here, an even softer material here, and the same as the side. So a little tougher on the side, softer over here. Decent enough to rest the elbow, in my opinion, without trying to be luxury. I also like the sandblasted chrome look that they got here. We're breaking up the black, because in my opinion, the swish and the swish and the swish that Toyota did breaks up all the black. I also like the darker gray over here, and that's nice because it's not just going to be that black on black on black cheap look that you see on some of those super base cars. The climate control is very easy to use once you play with it for a couple minutes. It's very intuitive. Staying true to Toyota's design, they're giving you real tangible buttons. No climate operation on the screen dedicated here. We got a large knob for the driver, separate knob for the passenger. You can synchronize it with this little lever. Of course, I'll make a tutorial video for the Highlander, so you'll make sure to check that out. That will be linked up as well. And I can access the rear climate like this, and change it just like that, and go back. Super simple. Love it. The visibility as a Copilot is great. People really comment about the small details like putting the mirrors down on the door and being able to see through here, how that increases their visibility. Big windows. It's very easy to see. Nice slim but strong A-pillar. But I think that's enough time in the Copilot seat. Let's go to the seat you want to be in, the driver's seat. The moment you've been waiting for, because you're probably watching from home or work, what it's like to get into a brand new 2023 Toyota Highlander LE. Here's that standard black interior, which is really just a dark gray. Let me get a little closer for you. There we go. So if you really scrutinize the fabric, there's a little bronze stitching in there. It does not pop out at all. I think instead of going super dark black, this color is great because it's gonna hide some of that dust. If you go super black like my shirt, every little nick of dust and hair is gonna show everywhere. Standard electronic seat for the driver, no lumbar support, simple. With those nice Toyota all-weather mats with the channels locking to the floor, of course. No levers down here for the gas cap or the hatchback. Everything is a little higher up. Got the gas cap locking and the hatchback over on the driver's side like I told you before. The door, same thing as the passenger side. Hard-ish. Fingerprint resistant. Some fabric. Not super soft, but it's enough. It's definitely spongy with some fabric over it. It's definitely nice. Does not feel cheap. Auto up and down windows. Love it. That's on all the TNGA cars. Same storage. It's good. Let's hop in. There it is. That nice leather wrapped steering wheel at the LE level with a push button start. Great to see at the LE level. I know I got my turnkey fans, and I'll say I am a turnkey fan too, but when you leave that key fob in your pocket, you grab the door handle, it unlocks, brake, push start, simple, leave it in your purse, leave it in your bag. No futzing around for stuff. You can just grab things. It's very convenient. The speedo cluster is a nice easy reader, very easy to see those big white letters, but it has a sporty touch to it. It's very three-dimensional. So my Highlander Limiteds, my Highlander Platinums, they got that big 10-inch LED display, but check out the 3D design there with those big candy bars and bright white LED for your indices. They did well. Steering wheel telescopes, which is great, and goes up and down. I think they did good with it. You expect me to be biased, but you know, if you know my channel, I admit the things I don't like. The shifter feels good. You just shoot right down to D. There's no guessing. Back up, and the electronic parking brake applies for you. A couple different drive options here. Sport mode, normal mode, eco mode. All-terrain select. We went in here already. Simple car. It's nice to have that wireless CarPlay, which let's check out the screen a little bit. So when you connect to Bluetooth, your screen's gonna look just like your phone screen. But I'll just show you a couple things here on the Toyota software system. No more buttons on the sides, it's all touchscreen. And the radio has a lot more of a, let me just turn this down. It's got more like little widgets and icons here for your channels and stuff. So if you're visual, you're gonna really like this. If you were more, how do I say it? Analog or analytical, and you're used to seeing your list of numbers, this might get a little confusing, but it's very easy to get used to this for the radio system. But Toyota probably assumes you're running CarPlay or Android Auto for music a lot of the time too. We can still customize all the different settings like we could on the previous Highlander. They just made it easier. You can still turn the screen off while keeping your music on, just like in the last Highlander. They just made it easier. And the big thing is, which as a previous software system owner, my vehicle still has the previous software system. The main goal here was to have the screen react very quick to every touch. So one of the complaints on the previous software system, which is still offered in the Camry, is, and of course the Tacoma and the 4Runner, is that when you touch the screen, it took too long and it lagged to react. Now every time you hit the screen, everything is pretty much instant, which is nice. You might wonder about heated seats. Not an option here, gotta go XLE. You might wonder about heated steering wheel. Not an option, gotta go XLE. There are no additional packages. So what you see here is what you get. I'd say most of them come with those all-weather mats and maybe some door edge guards, maybe some door sill protectors. If your dealer's crazy, even a first aid kit, but they're keeping it simple, keeping it simple. You don't get much. You get the important stuff. You get the safety, a couple convenience upgrades, the new nice software system, standard electronic seat, standard electronic hatchback, which is height adjustable, by the way. You get the important stuff standard, but when you want heated seats, heated steering wheel, moonroof, seat memory, all that stuff, we got to bump it up a little bit. So check out the XLE video, or even the Limited or the Platinum. But I can't drive this down the street. I can drive it on the lot a little bit. Let me buckle up and show you what it looks like POV style, driving in a Highlander. So the visibility is very nice on the Highlander. I can see all around me. And when you're driving on the highway or you're driving on the back roads, it has a nice low center of gravity. The TNGA frames really do a good job keeping you down on the ground. Confidence inspiring. The noise reduction is definitely updated from the previous gen. But you gotta drive one because we all interpret these things differently. I don't like to spend too much time doing the drives, but I know you guys like to see a little peek. So let's wrap up the video. I'm just gonna park her over here. Here's our backup camera. Super simple, no parking sonar. Like I said, it's not a loaded vehicle. Put it back in park, park and brake engages. Then when I release the brake, it doesn't even roll an inch. So there you have it, the 2023 Toyota Highlander LE with the new 4-cylinder turbo engine, which I mentioned the hybrid doesn't get the turbo. The new software system, some updated convenience, and more of a modern feel and touch than the last generation. I think if you're in the market for a 3-row and you're not going crazy like that Sequoia Suburban excursion size, the Highlander will make you very happy, especially when you dive deeper on all the standard safety that this vehicle comes with, the TNGA frames, and Toyota's history of truly caring and being passionate about what they sell to their customers, keeping the vehicles reliable and safe. But with that being said, that wraps up the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new to the channel and you liked the video, please give it a like. If you're a returning viewer, please consider subscribing because I promise it will be worth it. I'll be bringing you more valuable Toyota content. And with that said, a special thank you to my current subscribers. You guys warm my heart every day. I love seeing you in the comments. I will see you in the next video. Peace.